Now, the referendums in Ukraine are done, and as hurriedly as the votes were announced by Russia, so are the results, and there are no surprises. Kremlin-backed proxies have claimed overwhelming victory. Russia has announced the results of the 5-day referendum held in Ukrainian territories. It says all 4 regions, which are currently under Moscow's control, have voted in favor of joining Russia. Up to 4 million people were asked to vote in the war-torn regions, which make up about 15% of Ukraine's territory. As per the tally released on Tuesday, 93.1% of voters in Zaporizhia support joining Russia. Almost 87% of people in Kherson are in favor of Russia, while in Luhansk, the number stands at nearly 98.5%. And hard to believe, 99.23% in Donetsk.
В 2014 году мы об этом мечтали. А дальше мы творили историю. Именно так. Сегодня исторические дни. Мы воссоединяемся с нашей большой Родиной, с великой Россией.
While Moscow officials claim that almost all territories voted in favor of joining Russia, Kyiv has announced or has once again dismissed the vote as a sham.
Я підкреслив на засіданні Радбезу, реалізація Росії так званого кримського сценарію і чергова спроба анексії української території означатиме, що з цим президентом Росії немає про що говорити.
The vote was held from Friday and ended on yesterday, and in the absence of international recognition, the polls were not monitored by a global body, putting in doubt the authenticity of the whole vote. Remember, there have been reports of making people cast their votes under pressure, submitting fake votes, among other things.
Только все эти процессы сейчас пройдут юридического утверждения результатов референдума, после этого мы приступим к организации органов власти.
Russian President Putin is expected to announce the annexation on Friday during the expected Duma address, the same way that he announced annexation of Crimea days after holding a referendum there. If Russia annexes the 4 regions which Moscow does not fully control, it could take the war to a new and more dangerous levels. Russia might portray any attempt by Ukraine to regain its territory as an attack on its land. Earlier, President Putin defended the referendums. He said they were designed to stop the persecution of ethnic Russian and Russian speakers by Ukraine, a claim that Ukraine has continued to deny. The US and EU member nations have slammed the plebiscite. UK has imposed new sanctions targeting top Russian officials involved in enforcing the vote, while the United States say they will never recognize Russian annexations and warn the Kremlin of additional swift and severe costs. And for more on this, joining us live from Kyiv is Ruslan Botnik. He is the director of the Ukrainian Institute of Politics. Welcome to the broadcast, Ruslan.
Hello, friends.
Now, there is confusion as to whether the results announced by Moscow are to be believed. What impact will the referendums have on the war in Ukraine?
It's an extremely important question because when we are talking from the international law and Ukrainian law side, these so-called referendums are worthless. They are illegal, absolutely. But in any case, there will be a political and military impact and consequences of these referendums. If the Russia will take these territories after referendums, so-called, and if Russia will annex these territories, she should blackmail the Ukraine and the world by using the nuclear weapon, for example. Also, Russia takes for herself, of course, takes the right to defend these territories using mobilization, using army, and switching on the war on the next stage, on the all-Russian war. So there will be very dangerous political and military impact of these referendums, but there will not be any law results and consequences from the international law side.
Ruslan, let me ask you this. All 4 of these regions are active war zones, which many residents have fled, with reports of fighting and explosions on a daily basis. What would it mean for Ukraine if the annexation is successful?
Of course, you are right. There are a small number of people in these areas, and there is no correct figures how many people take participation in these referendums. But we estimate these figures not less than 20–30% of all population of these regions. And Ukraine will continue the recapture and liberation of these territories without taking in account these so-called referendums.
All right. Ruslan Botnik, thank you very much for giving us time and for talking to WION today. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.